As women, we need to intentionally shift away from the one and only mindset. Have you ever stopped to think about how the idea of equality in polygamy might just be a cleverly crafted propaganda? In reality, it's a tool designed to undermine men's effort to create lasting legacies. Even more shocking, women are being used as the driving force behind the illusion, leading to unnecessary divorces and perpetuating the myth that African families are rooted in broken homes. Hello, Poly family. Welcome once again to another episode of Rooted Conversations with Gogo Wistembu. I'm Khotatso Hlope, also known as Gogo Wistembu. Here we talk all things spirituality, heritage, polygyny, family dynamics, health, wealth, and legacy building within polygamous families. In life, absolute equality is an unrealistic expectation, and expecting it in polygamous marriages can lead to unnecessary scrutiny and potential failure. Even in monogamous marriages, a wife may feel dissatisfied, often competing for her husband's attention, whether it's with his career or seeking respect from in-laws. In polygamy, the debate over treating women equally deserves deeper reflection. What does equality truly mean in this context? We mustn't use this word loosely, particularly given the realistic dynamics of how most polygamous relationships start. Many relationships evolve from monogamy to polygamy, although not all do. However, the reality remains that one wife was met before another. The first wife often bears the emotional weight of entering a polygamous arrangement more intensely than, the subsequent wives. This does not diminish the uncertainty faced by the incoming wives, but it highlights the unspoken expectation for the first wife to hold the family together. Although we look to the second wife to understand the first wife's challenges, her own emotional needs often go unnoticed or neglected. Equality isn't practical as circumstances differ widely. For instance, if a relationship begins with an affair unknown to the first wife, it's already unequal. While the second wife might be aware of the first wife's presence, the first wife is likely unprepared for the introduction of a second wife. Again, society frequently overlooks the emotional needs of second wives, assuming that since she entered the relationship knowing that the man was married, she should accept whatever little attention she receives. This expectation is unfair, it's unkind, and it assumes that she deserves neglect, especially considering that this is a polygamous marriage, not a temporary affair. However, the husband may wish for the incoming wife to understand his feelings as he has been reallocating his time and attention to her while the first wife was unaware, which complicates balance within the marriage. Ultimately, if women don't compete, things remain peaceful. The trouble starts when a woman is aware that he officially wants to take a second wife. Even if he was demonstrating that there is a potential wife by maybe sleeping out or returning home late. Ever heard of the saying, ignorance is glitter? Many women are content ignoring their partners involved with others, but suffers when the truth and the possibility that others also know comes to light, revealing the reality that they have been living with. The moment the first wife discovers her husband's affair with the incoming wife is when it becomes clear that he has not been treating both women equally. He has been taking time from first wife to give to the second. He managed to sustain both relationships as they trusted him, especially the first wife, as she was unaware of the affair. and the incoming wife trusted him to do right by her when the time is right. However, once the truth is revealed, he must now manage the impossible task of splitting his time and attention between two women, leading the women to refocus their attention from him to each other, competing to prove their importance. The issue isn't only about equality, it's about the competition between the women to determine who is loved more. Matters become even more complex when the women start to know about each other. They often stalk each other over social media and may begin comparing lifestyles and questions about how the man allocates his resources between them. The women start assessing his actions towards them as a measure of whom he loves more. The second wife might feel that the husband does more for the second wife and feel that she is given breadcrumbs without considering that the first wife has been in the relationship longer. This can complicate matters, causing the man to worry that the second wife is interested only in his resources or is trying to compete with the first wife. Consequently, many African men might hesitate to include the second wife in the estate planning, leading to situations where upon his death, all his assets goes to the first wife, leaving the second wife and her children in a difficult position. This underscores the importance of women cooperating, avoiding comparison and competition, and collectively holding the man accountable for maintaining the family's legacy after his death. A polygamous man potentially has greater opportunities for success compared to a monogamous man, but he often faces systematic challenges that are designed to hinder his efforts of building polygamous harmony. The concept of equal treatment is often manipulated to foster a sense of entitlement among women, leading to a benefactor mindset rather than encouraging them to contribute effort and value in alignment with their desired benefits. Ultimately, women often force a polygamous man into a situation where he must choose between the first wife and the second wife. Even if he clearly desires to keep both of them, their competition, comparison, and demands for equality lead them to believe that he has to make a choice. As women, we need to intentionally shift away from the one and only mindset. We should move past the idea that a man must abandon the woman he has built a life with for the woman he wants to expand his life with and advance the entire family. The notion that a man must love or treat his wives equally creates an impression that polygamous men are destined to fail, discouraging people to viewing polygamy as a viable marriage option. Expecting equal treatment is unrealistic because the situation of each wife is different. The potential wife or new wife, despite knowing his intent to marry multiple spouses, isn't fully aware of family dynamics upon joining. However, excluding her from certain information due to her recent arrival isn't fair either. Again, the first wife, being the matriarch, Undlunkulu, has to play her role in onboarding her sister wife into the family. She becomes like a mentor or a teacher and guides her to transition into the family. How then can equality be practical? Instead of striving for equality, we should focus on each person's role in the marriage. Questions like whether the man can effectively lead, support, and respect both wives, and whether the women can contribute and benefit from the relationship should take precedence. When women trust in his leadership and focus on love rather than just pushing or wanting equal treatment, equality becomes less central. This shift signals a growth in maturity among the women involved. The pursuit of equality often instigates unnecessary competition and feelings of greed and discontent among women in polygamous settings. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Rooted Conversations with Gogo Westembu. I hope that this conversation has shed some light on the issue of equality in polygamy and the importance of understanding that emotional dynamics are at play. Join us next time as we explore more topics that challenge and redefine the traditional relationships. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all our social media for more updates. Until next time, remember to embrace the wisdom of our ancestors and carry it with pride. Stay rooted and stay enlightened. Gogo Westembu. Hello, polygamy!